scanning of how the body feels this morning. And in any way you want, just kind of see what comes to your mind as a feedback from your body on the ground. Which is the body part that speaks the loudest to you this morning? For whatever reason. And go ahead and roll yourself to the side. So we're sitting with the legs bent, hip width apart, and with the hands supporting us. And kind of walk the hands back and see if that's better. Walk them forward and see if it would kind of find where you can lean on them. Are your elbows straight? Are they bent? Is your back erect? Is your back sinking? And where are you on your pelvis, on your hip? And once you find a place for your hands, start rocking the pelvis forward and back. Forward. So it's the bones that you are on. I think there's somebody looking for us. It's here. Hi.
Hi. I'm Gail.
Hi.
Are you Denise?
Yes. So just find a place and we
I'm
just
sorry.
started.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 9:30.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry.
Where did you see 9:30?
Probably the Gabber.
I'm sorry.
Probably the Gabber.
Yeah, I think, or actually I looked on the senior center site and it said 9:30 to 11. So anyway.
That's not my class. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe I looked at it incorrectly.
Welcome.
which Could always be.
Welcome.
Thank you and welcome everyone. Sorry.
And you're gay?
I'm Gail.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, gosh.
We'll work it out.
All right. So we'll just we'll kind of rewind a little bit. So we're sitting with the legs a little bit wider than hip width apart, and we're finding a place for the arm. And we kind of walked it forward, we walked it back, until we found a place that they can support us. It's like a structure that holds the torso. So you don't have to work with the torso so much. And now we started rolling the pelvis forward and back. So it's a very small movement of rocking forward and rocking back.
Is it like a tilt? Changing the tilt?
It's the bone that you're sitting on.
Okay.
You're rolling it forward
Oh,
and you're rolling it back.
Okay.
And you may feel that the ilium,
Uh-huh.
the iliac crest, will move forward and will move back together because it's one bone. So the pelvis has two bones, and one on each side, and each one of that bone is divided into three bones. The pubis, the ilium, and the ischium that's underneath here. So we are rocking on the ischium forward and back. And if it's hard for you, you are probably doing it more with your spine, with the lumbar. So as you're doing it with the lumbar, see if you can quiet it down and shift. Maybe think about moving forward. There's another way that you can just like shift forward. And you play with it. You find what is it that you can do. Maybe the shifting forward is easier. Like the pelvis is moving forward underneath the leg. versus rocking on the ischium, on that bone here, rocking forward and rocking back. Rocking forward and rocking back. See if you can get your arms close enough underneath you where the elbows are not locked but straight, that the arms are straighter.
What happens with your shoulder blades when you do that?
You're going to have to see how much you can lift with your situation.
Okay.
There. And then see if you can do it now. Get some movement in the hip, in the pelvis bones. Uh-huh. And rest it for a minute. Maybe lie down and let the arm rest for a minute. So we looked at it in two different directions. We kind of let the pelvis slide forward and back, and we allow the pelvis to rock and roll forward and back. So that was looking at it from the bones. So now turn to the side and let's roll back into sitting, same thing. But now you're going to think about, again, the arms underneath supporting you. And we're going to think about a string attached to the belly button, and somebody is pulling the belly button out, and you're pulling it back in. And somebody is pulling the belly button out. So now we're working with muscles. Very different sensation, isn't it? Slow it down a little bit, Maggie.
Okay.
Let the string pull you out. Like I'm coming and I'm pulling the belly out. Lean a little bit more back. Lean back. More. Look at me. There. And now let the string pull you out and let the belly button go in. Lean even further back. Take your arms a little bit further back. There. And now allow the belly button to come forward. And rest for a minute. Just rest. Let the arms rest in sitting. We're going to do it again and see if you can do it as you inhale and then try to do it as you exhale. See if you can pull the string on exhale or not. What does it do? So when you're ready, the arms will go back and you support yourself. And let's try with inhaling, pulling it out. And then you can try doing it with an exhale. And then again into inhale. And then again with exhale. Exhale and pull the string. And rest. And tell yourself which one felt more organic, which one felt that you can do better with less effort.
Have a good Seder. I love you.
And then roll to the other side that you rolled earlier and come back to a sitting position. So which one was it? Exhaling or inhaling on movement?
Inhaling.
Inhaling?
Yeah.
Inhaling?
It was a bone crunch on there.
It's a bone crunch,
Yeah, it's a little crowded. But
Okay.
it's good to try to do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is for you. Actually, it's also for Julia that's not here.
Yeah.
Exhaling was easier.
Exhaling was
for me.
easier for you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But now we're going to rock the pelvis again and see if there's a little bit more freedom to rock the bones. So now we are back to focusing on the bones to see if they can rock underneath the ribs. In working with dancers, I noticed that there is huge difference between people in the space between the ilium and the ribs. So the people that they have like maybe a centimeter or so, like half an inch barely, they would not be able to lift their leg into an arabesque with the leg going back. The ones that have space can rock the hip forward and the leg can come up. Or somebody that has a back that collapse and the ribs are sitting on the ribs is absolutely finding the movement is
A treasure hunt.
a treasure hunt. So we are back into rocking the pelvis, the ischium bone. So when you go to the museum in New York and you look at the dinosaurs sitting, their ischium is like this big. It's the size of, our forearm. Our ischium is like a tiny little thing that we sit on.
Hmm.
But now we are rocking behind it and over it. Behind it and over it. So now I'm going to give you a little bit more freedom, and you can bend the elbows and lengthen the elbows. And bend the elbows and lengthen the elbows to assist in the rocking. And more than that, I'll be really nice. And we're going to add the eyes, looking at the belly button going back. And we're going to lift the eyes and we're going to look at the horizon to see where we're going when we erect. And we're going to rock back, losing balance, and the eyes will go with us towards the belly button. And as we're rocking on the ischium and coming into on top of it, we are at the horizon. So take the time to find where your eyes are, you're losing the eyes on the way, and can you smooth it? Can you work with the eyes and the elbows to create a smooth transition between sitting to getting up, between sitting and laying down. All this transition where we are rocking on the pelvis, and we can use not just the pelvis itself, but the head and the neck and the arms to take us down. And more than that, as you come up and the eyes are traveling up, can you feel the space between the lower rib and the ilium? Can you feel yourself lifting and spacing? And it might be in millimeters, I don't know, inches, but tiny, tiny little bit, but still there is an opening, there is a space internally. It's the same space that happens between, like with the eye movement and the length of your neck. And let the legs rest for a minute. And see if you can sit now on your ischiums, on the ischial tuberosities, on those little bony parts of your pelvis, and rock, 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 rock. Rock, 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 rock. Rock, 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 rock. One more time. Rock, 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 rock. Which one of them is planted clearly into the ground? Which one is kind of, are you there? And start moving the legs, bring the legs so they're parallel with the width of your hip. And move the legs forward and back. So earlier we moved the pelvis on top of the legs. Now we're moving the legs underneath the pelvis. And notice how the ischium is moving as the leg is pushing the hip back, pushing the hip back, pushing the hip back, pushing the hip back. So let's work together. Let's take the right leg back. And so now the left ischium is forward and the right ischium is back. We have a diagonal. Right? And stay there. You can give yourself permission to support yourself. And collapse and think that you have to sit like this for the rest of the day. In this position. And what can you feel the rotation in the back? So now if you want to look forward, you have to rotate back. And on a microscopic level, not microscopic, but bigger than that, we're doing it all the time. Let's bring the leg back so the pelvis is somewhat facing forward. And now take the left leg back. So you have a diagonal in the opposite direction. And you can feel that it creates tension and havoc and rotation. And when people go to a chiropractor to be adjusted, it's usually because the pelvis is either rotating forward and back, or it can also be rotated up and down, forward and back. There's different ways that the connection, the joint in the sacrum is not aligned right. I call it rusty. So, let's bend the legs once again. I know the secret now. Summertime in Florida. Okay, so let's bend the legs again. And we're going to go into the right side of the hip and into the left side of the hip. And notice what your body is doing. As you're going off center, are your ribs collapsing on that side? Are they lifting on that side? Is the opposite hip rolling, the knee rolls, or are you lifting the hip? So I already mentioned 4 variations on the theme. So let's try all of them. So we are shifting to the right, and we allow collapse the ribs. That will make me forward, right? And come back. Let's do it again. Go to the right and allow the ribs to collapse. Now we're going to do the lifting of the ribs. We're going to go to the right, but we're going to lift the ribs and come back. And we're going to go to the right and we're going to lift the ribs on the right side. And now we're going to use the left leg. We're going to go to the right and we're going to allow the left knee to fall with us. And come back. And we're going to go to the right and we're going to allow the left leg to fall with us. And now we're going to lift the left hip. As we fall to the right, we're going to lift the left hip. So now let's try all of it on the other side and see how the other side feels. But okay, give yourself a rest for a minute. I'm kind of rushing the class today because I want to kind of have the whole thing. And we started late and all that, so. I have this conversation inside, why are you rushing it? You know, that. Because I want to do it all. Okay, so, left side. Falling to the left side, shifting to the left side, allowing the ribs to go collapse. Going to the left side and allowing the ribs to collapse. Going to the left side and allowing the ribs to lift on the left side. Now we're going to go use the leg, the right leg. Going to the left side and allowing the right leg to fall into it and come back. And going into the left and allowing the right leg to fall into it. In the fourth one, going to the left and lifting the right hip. And going to the left and lifting the right hip. Okay, and rest your arms. So if you had to choose, you're going to fall. There's no way around it. You're falling.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you choose?
Lift my ribs, turn.
Lift your ribs?
Lift the ribs and then follow with my hip to turn
Okay.
it, turn everything. I mean, I've got both hands on that side. Instead of
But you're falling.
Oh, I'm falling?
You are falling. There's no way around it. You
Oh.
are falling. You're in the midst of falling.
Okay, roll like a ball.
You roll like the ball. Yeah. Letting the ribs go, letting everything go with it. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, if we are lifting the ribs, we are tightening, we are holding.
Oh, okay.
So like if I would go up, I would lift the ribs and I would turn and I would turn and I would turn and I would go up.
Mm-hmm.
I will actually use the muscle. But if I'm on my way down, I will allow everything, boom, to collapse. So I don't break anything. Okay?
All right.
So we have a good 10 minutes to play with it. All right, so hands on the back. We'll go to the right. And you do something with the elbow, and you softly put the ribs, and you allow the legs maybe to come up, so you create a huge area to get the
Impact.
falling on the ground, that it's spread on a much air. You don't want to fall on the elbow, you don't want to fall on the hip, you want to spread it, okay?
Okay.
So let's play with that. Find your way of falling.
Right.
No, I'm still on my elbow.
Yeah.
I've fallen a couple of times when I'm running, and I'm trying to figure out what I did because I didn't hurt myself.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm thinking, okay, what did I? I'm sure I rolled somehow. I don't know how.
So like in studies, they noticed that people that were drunk in an accident got less hurt than people that were not drunk.
Relax.
Mhm.
They're relaxed, they're letting go. It's the, it's becoming a dolls without bones.
Mhm.
You know, the rag doll. But you can also, you can slow it down. Maybe you want to spread your arm, maybe you want to spread your legs so you have, last week we did rolling from, what's your name? Sorry.
Oh, Gail.
Gail. Last week we did the rolling from side to side, so they had that in their background. We fell from side to side along the ribs. Now we're falling from the hip back. So, you know, maybe if we spread the arm and then go. Okay? And then if you are a runner, you can maybe even take it, you know, from a little bit higher. You know, you can play with it. I mean, this is your time now to explore what works for you. And start doing it also to the other side. So maybe you probably want to either turn facing the other way or move your mat. You don't have enough room to go to the left.
Yeah, nice.
No, give yourself room so you don't hit any chair.
Okay, go ahead. Going to my shoulder.
Yeah, you want to have as much and take your legs and roll. See if you can spread your arm a little bit further out. Boom.
Okay.